All right, welcome to Corner Class Tampa. Hey guys, tonight we're going to be talking about a lot of things that are related to forecasting and Q4, Q1, and Q3, 2 forecasting. What that means, guys, is that we're going to look at the tea leaves tonight. We're going to see if the results of Q4 FY 2022, Q1 of FY 2023, and Q2 of FY 23. We're going to take a look and see if we can see where we're going to be with the market in that time, and then also we're going to look at some numbers. We're going to look at the numbers that are the Fed chair put out his forecast, and then also we just got fresh data in from National Association of Realtors. I just reviewed it, and I'm going to give you guys a little glimpse of what I see a 15-year real estate professional, broker, multi-million-dollar producer, what I see when I look at those numbers. I'm going to give you a little glimpse of the back, looking at the back, and see if we can see through the tea leaves and see what the market will be doing in a year, half a year from now. So I got to tell you guys something. I looked at the numbers, guys. I looked at the numbers. And you know what it reminds me of? You know, the topic of the show, you read the thumbnail, it says winter is coming. And when I looked at those numbers, that's what I saw. You know, I remember, you guys remember that Game of Thrones show that was on HBO? It was, I guess it was on a couple of 4 or 5 seasons. And in that Game of Thrones show, they talked about Ned Stark would always say, winter is coming. Winter is coming. And I never really thought about what that really means. What it meant is that, not good things are happening, guys. I hate to say it, but looking at these numbers, not good things are happening. And I think back to that show, Game of Thrones. You know, it was a wildly popular show. It was, it did $44.2 million per season. It averaged for across the 7 seasons or so that it was on air. And 44.2 million views, no telling how many millions of dollars that it produced. But I think back I remember the famous characters of the show. I remember Jon Snow. You couldn't kill that brother. That brother, came back from the dead and said, "Oh, I'm still here. I remember Jon Snow. I remember Jaime Lannister. He until he had his hand cut off, he was a man. I remember Tyrone Lannister was always managed to squeeze out of things. He was always managed to outwit just about everybody on the show. I remember, one of my favorite characters was the faceless. Hold on a second, guys. Sorry about that. I'm receiving a call. Give me 1 second. I remember the faceless guy who was who was part of the assassin. You know, they call him the faceless man. He was Jacqueline Hagar. He was one of my favorite characters. He was one of the characters that, you know, didn't quite fit in with the show. He was always kind of outside of everything, but he was an agent of death. So the faceless man was one of my favorite characters of the Game of Thrones. And then, of course, you can't have a Game of Thrones without Arya Stark. She, you know, we covered her from when she was a kid all the way up to when she was the hero of the show. I'm not going to give it to you just in case you haven't seen Game of Thrones. I'm not going to cover that. We I tell you, it was a great show. I caught it. I guess I was a fan around the second or third season when I really started paying a lot of attention to. But the main guy, one of the main guys of the show was Ned Stark. Ned Stark was the one that always would say, no matter what, you know, winter is coming. Winter is coming. And as I look at these numbers, that's what I think about. I think about, you know, how something is not good. It's not good. I can't see it any other way. You have not such a good forecast. So it started in probably the end of the third quarter, FY22. It's continuing on in fourth quarter, and you have a lot of things that's kind of starting to converge. And what can I say? In fact, let's hear what the Fed chair says. Let's hear what Chairman Powell said. And then we're going to come back and see if we can look through these tea leaves. We're going to hear directly from his mouth. All right. So I'm told that there is the sound is low. I'm going to work on that, and I'm going to bring the Fed chair back, and so you can hear it directly from his mouth. And basically, what he was saying is that the housing starts are and housing inflation overall is stubbornly high. We're going to pull up that interview and go back to it and see what he's, you know, give him his due, give him his time, and see if we can go ahead and see what he's going to be saying. But let's go to the numbers. Let's go to the numbers. I'm going to pull them down, and we're going to take a look at these numbers. And you're going to see what I see, which is could be better, guys. It definitely could be better. Now, take a look at this, and you would see that. Can you guys see that? Is it large enough for you guys? Okay, let me see if I can increase it here a little bit here for you. Let's see if I can expand this a little bit. Now, these are fresh numbers directly from National Association of Realtors. This is what we as real estate professionals receive. This is October, and you can see from the chart that October sales, this is the sales in October nationwide, was 4.43 million units. That was homes that are units that were sold. Most of these units are single family homes. The median price was 379,100 with the housing starts. This is the when you pull a permit or actually start on a home, but most of these numbers are permits that are pulled and start actually going vertical, is 1,425,000. And then new home sales in September was 603,000 homes. Now, that doesn't seem so bad, but we have to put it in context. We have to put those numbers in context to see what happened year over year, what happened in previous months. You can't just look at some numbers out of context. So if we look at those numbers in context, we come to this chart. Now, this chart here that I'm pulling up to the stream is a chart that, again, the National Association of Realtors put out. It is a chart that we as real estate agents look at on a monthly basis when it comes out, if not more, and we can start forecasting from that. Now, if you're looking at this chart, you will see that we have the total home sales. This is highlighted by the previous chart, and so this is not really new information. 4,430,000. We already stated that the median home price is 379,100. Now, here's something that's new. Here's something that is new. If you look at the numbers down here at the bottom, you would see along the horizontal axis, you would see that in October 2021, the existing sales median price index is percentage change year over year was at 13.7%. But look at where we are this time, 6.6%. 6.6%. Big difference year over year. Total existing home sales percentage change year over the year. So if you look again, October 2010, October 2021, you have 5.9%. And in October 22, you have 28.4%. Total existing home sales. Realtor inventory confidence index survey. Again, if you look at here's what we're looking for is really the days on the market. This is the first time we talked about first time home buyers, or actually let's cover it all. First time home buyers, you're looking at October is in the darker color, and then October 22, and then October 21, FY21 is in the lighter color. So you see first time home buyers, 28 to 29. Sales to investors, you have a downtick a little bit there for this year. Cash sales, now cash sales are up. You have 2 percentage points up. Not much distressed properties, but here's what this is the big one here, guys. Days on the market. The days on the market has increased from in FY 2022, October 2022, as compared to last year, October 2021. The average days on the market is 21 days versus 18 days. 21 days versus 18 days. What does that mean? Well, what it means is that the homes are sitting on the market a little bit more, which means that they're not as desirable. Means that they're not as desirable. So let's look at some more information. Remember that piece there. Existing home sales by region. Most of the homes is being sold in the South. You have the at 45%, the West 18%, Northeast 13%, and Midwest. But the South is selling most of the existing home sales is in the South. Sales by price range, as you can see, the South is 25. I'm sorry, the largest share is in the $250,000 to $500,000 range. 48% of the homes sold. You look at $500,000 to $750,000, 19%. 750 to $1 million, you're looking at 7%. A mil or above, you're looking at 6%. And then from 0 to 100K is some areas in maybe in Detroit or some other depressed areas, as well as some cash homes. Remember, the cash price was higher than this year than last year. You're looking at only 5% that is sold under 100,000, and 100,000 to 250,000 is 15%. So those numbers are numbers that you want to kind of take a look at and see where are the homes being sold. Where your sweet spot? Where your sweet spot? That's what you want to look at. And the sweet spot is clearly homes being sold in the $250,000 to $500,000 range. That's the sweet spot. What does that mean for us investors? Well, it means that if we get a project and the project is in that $250,000 to $500,000 range, there's a really good chance that you have a buyer that is positioned to purchase that home. Now, remember, investors, and I'm talking strictly to the investors here, you want to buy low and sell at market value, or just slightly plus or minus a little bit of the market value. But the key is you buy low. You make your profit in the buy, not the sale. So if you're buying a home at the right price and you position that home in the $250,000 to $500,000 inside, again, this is depending on where you are. Of course, a $500,000 home in California is probably just the dirt. I mean, so you definitely want to position your price point to where you are. Now, $500,000 home, $250,000 to $500,000 home in the South, well, that's a decent home, and most people can qualify for that. So that's where what you want to think about as you look at these numbers, and what you or your target audience, that perfect client. If your perfect client is in that sweet spot, you have a good chance of selling that home for a good price. So again, remember that. Percentage change of sales year over year. Okay, so here's what we have. If you look at it again, you have this is from a year ago, and you see look at all these negative numbers, guys. Across every price point, we have a negative number. That means that the sale of the home as compared to a year ago, is not looking great. Not looking great. Now, we talked about winter is coming. Those numbers should suggest that we're in a softening market. If you look at year over year, every price point was reduced. Now, if we know that we're in a softening market, what are some of the things that we can do as investors to offset that? We know it's softening. The Fed chair said that, hey, listen, housing, we got a problem. Rents are too high. Prices are starting to soften a little bit. And definitely interest rate is about what it is. In previous shows, I mentioned that the Fed chair, he will increase the by several basis points the interest rate. So you would expect that the interest rate is going to be somewhere around where it is now, if not a little higher or a little lower. What that means is that we have to strategize for that. We have to strategize for that. If we know that we have these conditions, then we got to strategize for that. Now, I'm going to have this last piece of information to make my case. Now, I'm going to give you some advice, some advanced warning that this is hardcore data. I'm going to break it down for you. But this is data that the Fed chair, serious investors will be looking at. This is the U.S. Economic Outlook, October 2022. Fresh data, guys. Fresh data. Now, we don't need to worry about all of this, but there are some things that we want to look at. And the first thing is unemployment. I'm going to highlight this so you guys can see this line. No, maybe you can't see it. Now, if you can't see it, I'm going to give you the unemployment stats so that you can kind of take a look at it. Now, unemployment in 2021 third quarter was at 5.1%. And let's just look at the overall. Unemployment, 5.1%, Q3 of 2021. In Q3 of 2022, you're looking at the unemployment. According to this, has gone down. But if you look at the annual rate from 2020, 2021, 2022, and what's forecasting for 2023, the unemployment rate is expected to get better. 2020 unemployment rate was 8.1% nationally. 2021, 5.1, 2022, 3.7, and then just a slight tick up forecast for 2023. So according to these numbers, unemployment rate, not that bad. Not that bad. But let's look at the mortgage. This is the next big one. $30-year fixed. Q3 2021 was 2.9%. If you guys remember, that was historically low numbers. But let's look at Q3 2024. I'm sorry, 2022. You're looking at 5.9%, and Q4 is ticked up to 6.6%. 6.6%. Now that's a number that we really, really want to take a look at, because we got Treya here. Treya, thank you so much. Thank you so much for supporting. I appreciate you. Now she does some real estate dabbling also. So what we have is a situation where the unemployment is low, but the interest rate is high. The Fed has said that they plan on having a policy that will reduce the unemployment, or try to get the unemployment to around that 2% nationally. That's going to be kind of difficult for them to do, but they're going to use the tools that's in their toolbox to get there. So unemployment rate is another, and interest rate are another two key indexes that a person would need to know when they are strategizing how they're going to invest in real estate today. Another one is, we talked about this, is the housing indicators, and basically we covered that. We covered that. We covered the medium home pricing. But one thing that I do want to point out, when we look at the medium home prices, if you look at the medium home price for FY Q3 FY21, you looked at it somewhere around 306,000. That has ticked up in for Q3 2023. I'm sorry, 2022 to 389,000, and went down 300 and to 376,000. So it went up last quarter, and it went back down. Softening market, guys. It's a softening market. Again, that is what I want to convey. When I say winter is coming, what I'm saying is that you have a softening market. Now, we have the numbers. Now, hopefully I have convinced you guys that we have a softening market, and I want to talk about each class, what you can do with that softening market. Buyers. You have a mixed bag here. You have lower prices for the homes, but you have high interest rates. So you have kind of a net. If you need to buy, you should buy. Because if you're renting, even an average deal on a home is better than renting. So if you're a buyer, you need to buy. Now it's a good time to think about buying, because we don't know what the interest rates are going to be doing in first quarter next year. We know that the Fed is going to be raising them in second quarter next year. Again, we don't know where they're going to be, but we know that the Fed himself said that the housing market is stubborn. Is stubborn. Hey, listen, we got Loretta in the house. Loretta's giving me some love. Thank you, Loretta. Appreciate you. Now, for sellers, if you are a seller, winter is no longer coming. Winter is here for you guys. Look, you should have sold last year in that third or fourth quarter last year. That's what's when, if you was a seller, you was at the height of your powers. It was a seller's market. You had all those people that were having to buy homes with cash or well over the asking price, no contingencies. You know, it was Candyland for a seller. Now, not so much. You have a couple of choices if you're a seller. One, if you need to sell, you need to sell. Bite the bullet, you need to sell. But if you can kind of weather the storm, you don't need to sell. The only reason why you was thinking about selling is you wanted to maximize your home prices, the home sales. You wanted to get the most value for your home. Those days, they're gone, and they may come back end of next year. According to the Fed chair, he doesn't know when they're coming back, but he is dedicated to doing whatever they can do to bring inflation down, bring interest rates down, increase the value of home, and so that end of next year, maybe the winter is over for you guys. Again, that's a seller. The last one is investors. Investors, Candyland. This was very similar to kind of the conditions, well, not necessarily the fundamental conditions, but the fact that you have a softening market in 2008 and 9, where the housing prices is going down. Now, I do not expect that we're going to hit the housing market's going to drop off the face of the earth like it did in 2008, 9, and some of 2007. I do not expect that. I want to make sure that we're clear. But from the numbers, we can see through the tea leaves that we do have a softening market, and it is an opportunity for us to look for deals that make sense. Look for deals that make sense. If there's a deal that comes across your desk where you can buy low and sell at market value, remember the market value for that home is going to be decreasing over time. But if you can get in and get out, hit it and quit it, make a profit, you might find some deals out there. You might find some deals out there. Now, hopefully, you took my advice from previous videos, and you leverage the property, your home property. You got a HELOC on your home, or you refinance your home. So remember, I told you to cash out. Remember, I told you to start stacking that cash. The reason why I said that in Q1, 2, some of Q3 this year is because you need to have a cash position when the market starts softening. So if you still have equity in your home, or you have a group of fellas and you guys put your little money in, this guy put in 10,000, this guy put in 20,000, this guy put in 100,000, and you got that little cash thing, you may be in a really good position to take advantage of this softening market. So in a nutshell, winter is coming. Sellers, winter is here. But winter is coming, and for investors, you're looking at a really good opportunity to make some money toward the end of Q4 and beginning of Q1 of FY23, 2023, and possibly Q2 FY 2023. That is your market update. As always, we hope that we provide information, but it is only my opinion. I'm a 15-year vet, been in the market, multi-million-dollar producer, broker, but it's only my opinion. Talk to your team, talk to your family, talk to your financial advisor. Find out the best way to take advantage of the opportunities that are in front of you. Buy low, sell at market value. Do not try to sell over market value. You're gonna have a problem. And above all, stay grinding. I'll see you next quarter.